Most men don't lose relationships suddenly, they lose them slowly without realizing why. There are 7 female behavioral patterns that quietly determine whether a man builds a stable future or gets replaced without warning. They don't look dangerous, but understanding them early can save years of your life, your resources, and your peace. You are standing at a crossroads right now, even if you don't realize it. One path leads to a life of calculated stability, where your loyalty is met with genuine devotion and a shared vision for the future. The other path, the one most men are walking blindly, leads to a slow-motion train wreck where you are the last person to know that your investment has already been liquidated. The reality that most men refuse to face is that the destruction of your life doesn't start with a scream. It starts with a whisper. It starts with small, subtle behaviors that signal a fundamental incapacity for long-term loyalty and emotional depth. We are told by modern society that a woman's past is a closed book, something that should never be brought up and certainly never judged. We are told that her history is irrelevant to the woman she is today. But in the world of high-stakes investments, would you ever put your capital into a company with a decade-long track record of bankruptcy, internal fraud, and constant leadership turnover? Of course not. Why then are men expected to invest their entire lives, their hard-earned wealth, and their emotional well-being into women who have spent years perfecting the art of the exit strategy? There are 7 specific behavioral patterns that reveal exactly which women will drain your bank account, shatter your peace of mind, and leave you broken while they move on to the next target without looking back. This is not about shaming. This is about survival in a dating market that has become increasingly predatory and dishonest. This is about recognizing the warning signs before you lose years of your life, before you invest your emotions into someone incapable of reciprocating, and before her past becomes the nightmare that defines your future. Certain types of women exhibit behavioral markers that make them statistically, psychologically, and practically unsuitable for a committed relationship. Most men figure this out after the damage is done, after they have proposed, after they have merged their finances, and after she has already moved on emotionally while still sleeping in their bed and eating their food. But you are about to learn what took other men years and thousands of dollars in therapy to understand. The patterns are measurable. The red flags are visible. And the men who dismiss these warnings always, without exception, end up in the same situation. Replaced, disrespected, and wondering how they missed what was right in front of them the entire time. The first type that will systematically dismantle your future is the relationship hopper. This is the woman who appears completely safe on the surface. She doesn't have a history of one-night stands and she doesn't frequent the club scene. She presents herself as the ultimate relationship girl. She tells you she only does serious things and she might even criticize other women for being too casual. But when you look at the timeline, a chilling reality emerges. She has been in 10, 12, maybe 15 serious relationships in the last decade. The gap between each man is less than a month, sometimes less than a week. This woman is an emotional parasite who cannot exist without the constant validation of a new host. She camouflages her promiscuity behind the facade of commitment. Technically, she has never cheated. Technically, she was exclusive with every single one of those men. But the underlying reality is that she is perpetually cycling through men, using relationship labels to justify her inability to be alone with her own thoughts. Why does this type destroy your future? Because she has zero capacity for genuine bonding. She never stays in a relationship long enough to develop actual emotional depth. The second things move past the initial infatuation phase and into the real work of building a life, she is already mentally checking out and screening for your replacement. She is addicted to the novelty phase, the constant texting, the pursuit, the rush of someone new learning her secrets. When that inevitable fades, she doesn't have the psychological tools to maintain a connection because she has never had to develop them. She is carrying massive accumulated damage from every failed relationship, and you are simply the next man in line to pay the emotional debt of the men who came before you. If you choose to get involved with her, understand this clearly: you are not her soulmate, you are just the current occupant of a revolving door. When your 6 months are up, she will find a reason why you aren't the one. And she will be in someone else's arms before you've even finished moving your boxes out. She doesn't grieve, she just replaces. The second type you must avoid at all costs is the reformed wild girl. This is the woman who comes to you with a carefully rehearsed explanation of her past. She tells you that she used to be different, that she was lost, but she has grown up now. She spent her late teens and early 20s in a blur of parties, multiple partners, and reckless behavior. She experienced everything the world had to offer with men who wouldn't even buy her a cup of coffee. But now, conveniently as she approaches 30 and her market value begins to shift, she is suddenly looking for something real. This type destroys futures because she frames her entire history as irrelevant. She expects you to ignore the fact that she gave her best years, her peak beauty, and her most intense passion to men who treated her like a temporary amusement, while she expects you to provide a mortgage, a ring, and lifelong security. But human beings do not fundamentally transform just because they aged out of their party years. Her history is the strongest predictor of your relationship's failure. Research consistently demonstrates that women with extensive sexual histories have significantly compromised bonding mechanisms. The neurological ability to form a deep, lasting pair bond is eroded with every casual encounter. Her brain chemistry has been fried by years of high-octane novelty, and now she is trying to settle for a stable life that she will inevitably find boring. She didn't reform because of moral growth, she reformed because of necessity. Her options decreased, her looks started to fade, and she realized she needed to lock down a provider before the window closed completely. You are not her first choice, you are her retirement plan. Years of casual sex have turned intimacy into something transactional for her. That doesn't just disappear because she decided to put on a conservative dress and talk about values. If you commit to this type, you are accepting the used, damaged version of a woman after dozens of men experienced her best years for free. You are paying full price for a high-mileage vehicle that has been driven into the ground by people who didn't even pay for the gas. The third type is the woman with the digital harem, also known as the one with male orbiters. This woman will constantly reassure you that they are just friends. She has a rotation of 5 to 8 men who are always there for her. They meet for coffee, they send long texts late at night, and she runs to them the moment you two have a disagreement. If you express even a hint of discomfort, she immediately weaponizes the conversation, accusing you of being controlling, insecure, and toxic. This is gaslighting at its finest. These men are not friends, they are backup options. She keeps them emotionally invested and available so that she never has to face the fear of being truly alone. She has a pathological need for constant male validation. A secure woman in a committed relationship doesn't need a fan club of men waiting in the wings. The fact that she maintains these orbiters reveals that her entire self-esteem is built on knowing she has options. She is constantly preparing for monkey branching. She will never let go of your branch until she has a firm grip on the next one. Her male friends are pre-vetted replacements who already know her favorite coffee order and her deepest secrets. She has zero respect for relationship boundaries because she values the attention of strangers more than the peace of her partner. If you stay with this type, you are living on borrowed time. You will be replaced by one of those friends, the exact moment you stop being useful or the exact moment you start demanding the respect you deserve. She doesn't want a partner, she wants a lead singer for her backup band. The fourth type is the discreet sugar baby. This type is more common than most men realize because she will never openly acknowledge what she is. She doesn't have a profile on a sugar site anymore, but her history tells the full story. She has exclusively dated men who are significantly older and vastly wealthier. Her social media is a highlight reel of a life she cannot afford on her own income. Expensive restaurants, luxury hotels and exotic destinations, and designer bags that cost 3 months of her salary. When you ask how she afforded it, the answers are always vague. A friend invited me, or I've been saving up. This woman has learned to monetize her sexuality without calling it what it is. She has conditioned her brain to associate intimacy with material compensation. Why is she relationally destructive? Because she views all relationships as financial transactions. When she is with you, she is unconsciously calculating the return on investment for her time and her body. She cannot genuinely appreciate non-monetary investment. Acts of service, emotional support, and quality time are worthless to her because her value system has been calibrated around tangible luxury. She is constantly comparing your lifestyle to the men who spent thousands on her monthly. Unless you are in the top 1% of earners and willing to spend like a drunken sailor, she will perpetually feel like she is settling. The day your financial resources diminish, or the day a wealthier man enters her orbit, she will vanish without a trace. You cannot build a life with a woman who sees you as an ATM with a pulse. She doesn't love you, she loves the life you can provide, and she is always looking for an upgrade. The fifth type is the social circle recycler. This is the woman who has sexually rotated through your friend group, your acquaintances, or your professional circle. She dated your friend 2 years ago, had a thing with your coworker last summer, and now she's looking at you with interest. Everyone in the group knows it, but nobody says it. This type is dangerous because she transforms your entire social life into a minefield of discomfort. In male social dynamics, being the next man in the rotation after your friends have already been there automatically positions you as the lower value option. You immediately lose the respect of your peers. Other men who have already experienced her will view you with a mix of pity and amusement. They know details about her character and her behavior that you haven't discovered yet, and the fact that none of them chose to commit to her should tell you everything you need to know. She permanently destroys group dynamics. Social gatherings become a test of who can act the most normal while ignoring the shared sexual history in the room. If you proceed with this type, you are sacrificing your social standing and your reputation for a woman who has already been rejected by the men you respect. A woman who picks through a single social circle is signaling that she has no ability to attract quality men outside of her immediate proximity, or worse, that she enjoys the drama of creating conflict between men who know each other. She is a social poison that will isolate you from your brothers. The sixth type is the attention addict, the digital siren of the modern era. Her entire life is curated for the male gaze on Instagram and TikTok. Her photos are not about capturing memories, they are about showcasing her body to thousands of strangers. She has a massive following of men who leave explicit comments, and she actively engages with them to keep the engagement high. She tells you it's just social media, or that she's an influencer, but the reality is that she is addicted to the dopamine hit of external validation. This type is dangerous because she is on permanent display. She is broadcasting her availability to the entire world 24/7. You alone can never provide enough attention to satisfy her because her need is literally insatiable. She is psychologically dependent on the likes and comments of men she will never meet. This signals a deep level of narcissism and a total lack of character. She hasn't developed relationship skills because she has spent all her time perfecting her angles. She views her partner not as a teammate, but as a photographer and a background character in her one-woman show. She will post stories specifically designed to make you jealous just to see if you're still paying attention. If you commit to this type, you are entering a relationship where thousands of men are constantly desiring your woman, and she is actively encouraging them to do so. You will never have peace and you will never be enough. She doesn't want a husband, she wants an audience. The seventh and most insidious type is the history fabricator. This is the woman who deliberately, consciously lies about her past. When the topic of the number comes up, she gives you a socially acceptable answer, maybe 3 or 4, when the reality is 10 times that. She strategically omits details about the gap year she took or the crazy summer she had. She gaslights you when you notice inconsistencies in her stories. This is the most dangerous type because she is committing informed consent fraud. You have the fundamental right to make decisions about your future based on the truth. When she lies about her history, she is robbing you of that right. She is obtaining your commitment under fraudulent pretenses. If she is willing to lie about something as fundamental as her sexual history, she is willing to lie about anything. She will lie about where she is, who she is with, and what she is doing if it serves her interests. Eventually, the truth always surfaces. You will meet someone from her past, or she will slip up in a moment of weakness, and when that happens, your entire relationship will collapse. A relationship built on a foundation of lies is a house built on sand. It might look beautiful from the outside, but the first storm will wash it away. She isn't hiding her past to protect you, she is hiding it to protect her access to your resources. Why do intelligent, high-achieving men consistently ignore these red flags? Why do men who are successful in business, who can spot a bad deal from a mile away, fall for these 7 types over and over again? There are 4 primary reasons, and they are deeply rooted in the way men are socialized today. The first is sexual scarcity. Most men do not have an abundance of options. They live in a state of quiet desperation, so when a woman who is attractive and seems nice shows interest, they shut down their critical thinking faculties. They fear that if they walk away from her, they won't find anyone else. They rationalize unacceptable behavior because they are afraid of the cold silence of being alone. They tell themselves she's different because they need her to be different. The second reason is denial and wishful thinking. Men are natural problem solvers and builders. We want to believe that the woman we love is the exception to the rule. We want to believe that our love is strong enough to change her, that we can be the one to save her from her past. But you cannot love someone into having character. You cannot love someone into being loyal. Character is forged over years of consistent choices, and if she hasn't made those choices, you cannot make them for her. The third reason is cultural manipulation and shaming. Modern society has spent decades telling men that having standards for a woman's behavior is misogynistic. You are told that you are insecure if you care about a woman's history. You are told that you are controlling if you expect boundaries. This is a massive psychological operation designed to make men accept lower quality partners so that the social machinery can keep running. Protecting your future and your peace is not insecurity, it is intelligent strategy. The fourth reason is female manipulation tactics. These women are absolute experts at presenting themselves as victims of their own choices. They tell you stories about their toxic exes, or how they were misunderstood in their youth. They manipulate you into playing the role of the knight in shining armor. But you must understand, you are not a therapist and you are not a rehabilitation center for broken women. You are a partner, and you deserve someone who brings value to your life, not someone who expects you to spend the next decade fixing her. The long-term consequences of ignoring these patterns are devastating. It isn't just about a breakup, it's about the systematic destruction of your life's work. When you commit to one of these types, you are putting your financial security at risk. In the modern legal system, a divorce can strip you of half of everything you have worked for, and women with these behavioral patterns are statistically far more likely to initiate divorce the moment they feel bored or find a better option. You are putting your mental health at risk. The constant gaslighting, the uncertainty of her orbiters, and the pressure to maintain a lifestyle for a sugar baby will leave you in a state of chronic stress that will shave years off your life. Most importantly, you are putting your genetic legacy at risk. The mother of your children is the single most important choice you will ever make. Do you want your children to be raised by a woman who values male validation more than her family? Do you want your daughters to learn that their body is a transaction and your sons to learn that being a provider is a thankless job for a woman who doesn't respect them? If you want a stable, happy future, you must develop a vetting process that is as rigorous as a background check for a top-secret security clearance. You must look for a woman with a genuinely low partner count, ideally between 0 and 3. You must look for a woman who has a history of long-term, stable relationships where she wasn't the one who gave up when things got difficult. You must look for a woman who doesn't require the constant validation of strangers on the internet to feel worthy. You must look for a woman who naturally respects relationship boundaries and who understands that being in a partnership means closing the door to other options. These women are significantly harder to find in the current dating market. They are the hidden gems, the 1%ers. Finding them requires that you also be a genuinely high-value man, not just in terms of your money but in terms of your character, your leadership, and your emotional intelligence. You must be willing to walk away the moment a red flag appears. This is the secret sauce that most men lack. The power in any relationship belongs to the person who needs the other person less. If you are willing to walk away from a beautiful woman because she doesn't meet your standards of character, you have achieved a level of freedom that most men will never know. You are no longer a victim of the dating market. You are a participant who chooses his own terms. Never compromise your standards for convenience, loneliness, or social pressure. Your future, your mental health, your financial security, and your legacy depend entirely on choosing correctly. The 7 types are undeniable. Let them be burned into your mind. The relationship hopper who replaces you before the bed is cold. The reformed wild girl who wants you to pay for the sins of her youth. The one with male orbiters who keeps a backup plan in her phone. The discreet sugar baby who sees you as a transaction. The social circle recycler who will destroy your reputation among your peers. The attention addict who lives for the likes of strangers. And the history fabricator who builds a relationship on a foundation of lies. These aren't moral judgments about personal lifestyle choices. They are strategic assessments about relationship compatibility and the statistical probability of success. The research data is absolutely clear. Female promiscuity and these behavioral markers strongly predict relationship failure across every metric that matters. Now you have the knowledge. You can no longer say that you didn't see it coming. You can no longer play the victim when the patterns you ignored lead to the destruction you feared. Use this knowledge to protect yourself, to protect your resources, and to build a future with a woman who genuinely deserves your commitment and your protection. If this information has potentially saved you from years of exploitation, emotional trauma, and financial loss, then it is your responsibility to stay informed. Every single week, we dive deep into the truths about women, relationships, and the hidden dynamics of the modern world that most men only learn after it's too late. Subscribe to this channel right now and join a community of men who are reclaiming their standards and their lives. This is the education you were never given, the survival guide for the 21st century man. Comment below, have you personally dated any of these 7 types? Write yes or no, and tell us what you learned from the experience. Let your story be a lesson for the men who are still in the dark. The past absolutely matters. Patterns reliably predict the future. And choosing the right woman is unquestionably the most important decision of your entire life. Do not leave it to chance. Do not leave it to emotion. Leave it to strategy. Now take this knowledge and use it to build a life of peace and power. Subscribe now.